The other one I want to talk about, the second to the last rape, which was the fourth rape, happened after I got married to my husband, had my 2 kids, and then we moved to Ikeja. We moved to this place in Agidingbi. You know, the house was very close towards the canal, you know, and I was living with my landlady. My landlady was living in a duplex, and she had this mini 2-bedroom flat, which I rented, and I was living there with my husband. I had gone to Dubai. I came back, because then I had a shop in Ilupeju, and I was, you know, I had a boutique, a salon, a video club, and I was selling gold. I could remember Ope Ayola's gold was even among this gold then, because she had sent me to get her a choker, you know, so I got this gold. Anyway, I came back 2 days before the incident happened. I was in the house. We had this Alsatian dog that belonged to my landlady, you know, and I just heard boom, like somebody broke a bulb, and then I got up, because normally when that happens, the dog will bark. So I wasn't hearing the dog's voice, but I heard boom, you know. So I peeped through the window, and I could see some funny creatures, people running around, because the area was dark. I said, I'm robbers, we've entered. Bam. So I woke my ex-husband, because he was sleeping, and unfortunately that day he came back really drunk. So he had a lot of alcohol in his system. So I woke him up. I said, Oga, clear eyes, oh, I'm robbers. I was panicking. He got up, we were panicking. I picked up the phone. I ran into the living room. We started making calls, because we had a security door, so it was very hard for them to break in through the door. So we felt we were safe, that there was no way they were going to come into the door, but we had to stay away from the windows in case they were going to shoot, you know. So we all gathered ourselves, you know, to the corridor one side. We closed all the doors. We started making calls. I carried the kids. Priscilla was about, I think, 3 years old or 4. Festus was about 5 or 4. I can't remember. They were young. We carried them. And we started, okay, it was 2000, and this happened 2004. Yes, 2004. 2000. Was it 2000? Yes, early 2004. You know, so I carried them into the, so we started making all calls. I was calling everybody I know. We're calling, and you know, people were calling the police. Even at the point in time, the police called us back to say they're on their way, blah, blah, blah. So we're happy. So they came, they started knocking the door. They said, open the door. You know, we didn't respond. At the point in time, we just heard, bah, bah, bah. They were actually breaking the window. They came with hammers and whatever. I don't know. They were just, I was like, they want to come in through the window. Then it dawned on us that, yes, we don't enter this one. I was shaking. I was upset. My kids, my everything, my husband. So my husband had to say, my ex-husband had to say, oh my God, I have a gun in this house. You guys have to leave now before I shoot. They stopped. We were happy. Then they said, Dan Buru back, I shake it, shoot, you know, like they were speaking Hausa. I don't know. Then my husband said, what are we going to do? Because the driver was in the house also. The house help was there. What are we going to do? I said, I don't know. My husband went, he said, I've gotten the gun, okay. He said, Laiton, my driver's name then was Laiton. Laiton, get the gun. Then one said, yes, sir. I mean, there was a... See, this thing that I'm laughing about, it wasn't funny. There was lots of drama going on. I kept telling my ex, don't say that. He said, only me. You know? But at the end of the day, to cut the long story short, they broke him. And they said it. They said, once we come in, shaggy, whatever, you all are dead. Especially you, like, because there was an exchange of words between my ex and them through the window. Because at the point in time when they were trying to bring down the window, we had to get our, dining table. We need to push it back. You know, we're using the dining table to push back the window. We got so many things, chairs, everything. Even our 3-seater, we had to stand it up to, you know, to push back the window so they could not break in. You can imagine, it was a lot of trouble. Eventually, they overpowered us because there were so many. I think they were between 12 and 18. A lot of them. And most of them were not wearing shirts. They had this short knicker and then they had this leaf. I heard they were Nigerians. They had this leaf tied around them. It was just two of them that was dressed. The leader, that one had a black cap. I can never forget that black cap. He had that black cap on, and then the other one was not wearing. He was just wearing a shirt and whatever. Two of them. You know, so they came in eventually, and the first thing they did, I can never forget, because my husband is tall, my ex-husband. He was standing, and then they had this axe, boom, on his head. The blood just went, you know, remember the tension, the alcohol, everything. And he just went down like a log of wood. I ran into the bedroom, our bedroom. They followed me, especially the one with the cap, the leader. And then when he followed me, say, "You can't," he dragged my hand back. And the next slap, oh my God, I saw 1,001 stars at the same time. Then they bounced on me, they were beating me because he had slumped and they were wrapping him. Because I noticed when I was on the floor, they were beating me. I was just looking at him. You know, they were wrapping him, they were marching on him, and they were shouting. Now I need to get up and do this. They were doing like they were matching him. They rolled him with our center rug. And they were and in my head, I was like, God, my husband is dead. My ex-husband is dead. I have entered it. And the reason why is because he didn't want to move to Ikeja. He wanted to stay in Mushin or Itire. I was the one who insisted we moved down to Ikeja. I knew, like, everything just like, oh my God. So even when they were beating me at a point in time, I wasn't feeling the pain. I was just like, God, I killed this man. Why didn't I just stay in Itire? Why didn't we just stay in Mushin? Why did I have to, like, the whole blame was just coming to my head. I wasn't even feeling all the beating and punching, everything they were doing. I wasn't feeling it. Now, before they came in, because it took them like almost 2 hours, if not more than 2 hours, for them to break that thing, because, you know, we were really stressing them. So that time, there was times that all the gold I bought, even Okpe's gold, I remember Okpe's gold, because, you know, and Okpe, thank you so much, because I remember I wanted to return the money, and you said not to worry. Yeah. So I had to go and wrap all the gold, put them, you know, hide them, all more. I used my hand everywhere that I hid it, inside the garden, inside the rice, inside the toilet, me, with my own hand, after the beating. I was thinking it out, and that thing caused more beating for me. Because the fact that they knew I hid those things, they felt I still had more that I had hidden somewhere, so they beat. You see that one, that the first rape I narrated was small. This one, they beat. They beat Shege. I mean, my face at a particular time was deformed. Like, I couldn't look at the mirror. I couldn't recognize my face. There was a time I couldn't see one of my eyes safe. And I think that's what affected my eyesight. Because till now, one of my eyesight, especially this one, very bad. They beat Shege out of my body. I had to go bring out all these things. I was bringing them out, everything one by one. So the guy insisted. Then my wedding ring, because I just bought a new wedding ring when I went to Dubai. I changed it. When I got married, it was a 9-carat gold, and then I bought an 18-carat. So I just blessed it, and I had it on. I had to pull it out when they were about to come in. I threw it under my house help. So when they started requesting for it, I had to go pull it out from her. But I really didn't want to go to her straight so they don't beat her, you know. So I had to be speaking Yoruba to her, Jukini ejade, you know. So at the time I was distracting the man when he was beating me, you know. When they were beating me, I was distracting them so that she could. So when they said, look at it, you know, they said, so I had it on. It wasn't funny. So I gave them all the gold, everything, but they still insisted I had more gold. At a point in time, they asked me to lie down. The guy was wearing a black boot, and he was matching me. Like, for years, I had bruises, internal bruises around my heart area, and that caused me to lose a lot of weight. I couldn't lift up everything. Until tomorrow, I can't climb mountains. the blood that gushes out of my nose. Tiana witnessed one recently in Turkey when she said we should walk one distance. I said, Tiana, I don't climb, and she said, it's a land. When she saw the blood gushing out, she was shaking recently. So lifting up heavy objects till tomorrow affects me, you know. And after a while, they started moving out, taking all the things. The second in command, the reason why I knew it was the second in command, because it was two of them that was controlling the rest people. They took out all the electronics, the TV. We didn't really even have much safe, but they just took everything that we had, the DST, what do they call it? That video player, everything, sound system. They just packed. But they actually came because of the gold. Apparently, they have been coming to the compound, pretending to be security guys around, that they want to come and fetch water. You know, and I used to allow them. Sometimes it's not good to be too nice. I used to allow them, but I didn't know that they have partnered with our then security man, which was an OPC guy then. They had partnered with them. They wanted to raid me and the landlady, but unfortunately, she was supposed to arrive that day, but she missed her flight. So even when they wanted to come into the compound, because they came through the back fence, you know, that back fence is very close to the canal at Agidimbi. You know, you can see that on that bridge where you can take to Magodo or take to Ibadan or take back to Ikeda. Is it Otedola? I don't know what they call that bridge. So they came through that place, and then this, according to the security guy who is late now, told them to go back and come back another day, that the landlady missed her flight. But they were so angry that they sliced his belly. You know, because he later died. He confessed before he died. They sliced his belly. So he was the one allowing them into our compound, telling us, madam, they want to fetch water. So I said, okay, they can fetch water. Not knowing that they were using that one to come and survey the house, to look at everywhere. So they knew every nook and corner of that house. All right. So, because my house help recognized one of them. So she later said she recognized this particular person. Anyways, with all the police safety, they couldn't catch them. That one is for another day. Let me continue. Anyways, so the second in command, when they were moving their things out, I thought they had gone, because at the particular time I wasn't really hearing. I thought they were outside. So I just lifted my head from the floor where I had been brutally beaten and battered. And then I just lifted my head like this. The guy was standing right there staring at me. So he just said, you! He just grabbed me. They already had torn my clothes, but he finished the remaining tearing, tore every goddamn thing, and dragged me with my neck outside. And raped me. So I thought they were going to take turns because there were a lot of them. So me, I already felt dead anyways. And when he did what he did, the guys were just passing by. Even one gave me a dirty slap in between the whatever. But he was the only one who did what he did. And then he got a rope, tied my neck. Now, my landlady had, towards the fence where they came in through, my landlady had this little garden. She loved planting tomato stuff, so it was a very big compound. He dragged me with a rope there. He had a cutlass, and then he was digging sand out, and then he asked me to kneel. So I knelt down like this, okay? I was like this. You know, he had tied the rope around my neck towards my hand, so I was like this. And he was digging, you know. So the other guys were passing. They were just passing through that. They were going through that hole to take all the things because they broke into my landlady's house, but she wasn't around. Her mother was around, but she locked herself upstairs, and they had this iron security door, so they couldn't get upstairs. So they were carrying the electronics from the living room downstairs in my landlady's apartment on my side, and they were going in. And then when he was doing that, and then I think he was praying because I was hearing Bismillah, whatever. And as he was doing that, someone from that hole started talking to him, and they were exchanging words. I don't understand their language. Now, the security guy in the next compound who understands their language said, because when he came in to see me later, with the police people, the policeman was telling me, I'm very lucky, madam, thank God for your life, because the guy said that there was an argument that broke out between the leader and the guy that raped me, that, what are you doing? That the guy was narrating to me what they said, that what are you doing? And he said that he wants to kill me, that blah, blah, blah. And he said, why do you want to kill her? The guy had left. I think one of the guys that were taking the things into, informed him that he had raped me. So he came back angry with a pistol, because I never knew they had a gun because they didn't shoot. So he came back with a pistol, attacking the guy that he has told them that they should not be raping when they go for operations. So why did he do that? And then why does he want to kill me? That they already have killed my husband, and I have 2 little kids, and they've taken everything, they've beaten her. So why do you want to kill her? That he should leave me. And then the guy said, no. Then he said, if you don't leave, I will shoot. Because when I peeped, I saw the guy with a pistol. I even thought maybe he wanted to shoot me. I didn't know whether I thought he was standing there to shoot me while they had finished digging the hole. So I didn't know that he was actually saying he was going to shoot the guy that wanted to actually axe my head, there. So eventually, I just saw that he loosened the rope, because he had the rope very tight towards my neck. So he dropped the rope and then used his leg to, used his leg to push me away and asked me to go inside. And on my way inside like this, some of them that were still coming out, there were so many about, there were so many. They were just slapping, beating. Eventually I got back inside. And I lied down there. And after a couple of minutes or so, I saw footsteps, people coming in. And then I just said, Jesus, oh my God, Jesus, oh my God. I think then it dawned on me that the police had arrived with people. And then, because I was naked, so they went inside, they got, I don't know, was it a bedsheet? I just got something, and then they threw it on my body, and they said, madam, can you hear us? Are you okay? And my voice was gone, so I just kept saying, my husband. Because funny enough, when all these things was happening to me, the only thing I was thinking of was, I have killed my husband. Because when they came to me, all I was saying was, my husband, my husband. And I heard his voice. IYABO, okay. I'm okay. I said, you're okay? I said, okay. Oh, you're bleeding. Please take him to the hospital. The officer said, madam, you need to go to the hospital. You are more. Do you know how? I was like, no, leave me, don't touch me. Just take him to the hospital. The hospital. And it was until the next day, when I woke up in the hospital, because I think they gave me injections. I don't know, I slept off. That was when I knew I was brutally beaten. Because even when he was raping, I didn't feel anything. Because in my head, the only thing that was ringing in my head was my husband is dead and my children. Rape is never an easy thing. No matter how many times you try to talk about it, no matter how much you think you have overcome it, when you think of it, it is never a joke. So I'm going to bring up someone who has also been through something similar for you to know that